handguns are banned. Every type of gun is banned. It started with assault weapons in 2020.
And you guys want to go to a trade war with us?
Right? Crazy. We allowed them to do this.
Good luck to you.
And then the final step.
Just out there slap shot from across. Just,
right.
Just from across Niagara, just ripping clappers at us. So we're like, stop it.
No lumber
Seriously.
for you. We're going to keep our wood over here, all right? Just stay away.
The final step was that Trudeau was sending people to collect the guns by force.
So this is recently?
By force, collect the guns by force in Canada by October 25th of this year. That's what was supposed to happen. Canada Post, which is so Canada, the parliamentary. We can go back to the parliamentary system after how it works and stuff. But in Canada, we have things called crown corporations, and crown corporations are things like CN Rail, for instance. They're kind of a public-private partnership where the government, it's the crown would be like the queen, so it's like known as a crown corporation. So Canada Post is a crown corporation, and they refused to collect the guns because they didn't feel safe, and they shouldn't feel safe.
Well, that's hilarious
because
they sent the mailmen to collect the guns.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
is that what that is?
Because they
like
thought that they would
USPS.
fall in line. Yeah, they thought that they would fall in line.
So. Clevis from USPS coming to. You got
Excuse me,
guns
sir?
in there.
So,
Just put a little post stamp on
so
it.
anyway, here's a letter from your mom. And if I can have your handguns, please, huh?
Yeah. So I covered that one, and so they refused, and then
And you guys got rednecks in Canada. A lot of people don't know this. You guys have rednecks in Canada too. You go
course
up.
we do,
You go up north a little bit, up to the bush.
lumberjacks and all
Do
that.
they put it in their mail bag? Like, where do they put the gun after they collected
That's right.
it from
And
you?
all the police associations also said they're not going to enforce this, not going to do it. So Trudeau was trying to get an outside. I don't know who he was going to hire, maybe UN soldiers or something like that. But they're still trying to find people to come around and collect these guns. They call it the gun buyback program, which makes it sound like it's optional, but it's not optional. If you go onto the government website, it's called the gun buyback program, where they force you to give them the gun and they'll give you money for your gun, but you have no choice.
We did gun buybacks in America
So-
where gangbangers, no questions asked, in California, gave their guns in to the police, and the police would give them $500 for the guns, which then allowed them to buy 2 guns on the street with
right.
the money that they got
See?
from the gun buybacks.
But even that is an option, right? It just sounds nice. Gun buyback.
Dude,
program.
it's just, again, culturally, and I've been to Canada multiple times. I love Canada. Every time I'm there, the people are great. But culturally, there is that difference where it's like, it feels like you're in America until people start talking, and then you're like, oh man, this is not America at all. Like, there's like the things that people are okay with there or go along with there. I'm just like, this would never work.
It's a lack
man.
of will
It's
to fight. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lack
it
of will
would
to
never,
fight.
But see, it's two extremes. That's the thing. Is like if they can somehow find a middle ground, it would be great. Like Canada's great. People are awesome. They're super nice. I don't ever feel like I need a gun. I never, like, in my life was in Canada be like,
Drake wasn't
I could
rolling around
use
the
a
6,
gun right
yeah.
now. No, I never thought, like, but as Canada's progressing now and turning into almost some mini America, I get why you guys have guns. Like, I get it. I've been in America for a while now. I see why you guys
better to
want
have
guns.
it and not need it.
I know, but we never needed it. That's the thing.
No.
Is like,
I
and you never. And I
have
like
a different opinion on that.
I mean, depends where you grew up, buddy. But I mean, even at that, I've known people, and if there were no guns in the area you grew up, you wouldn't have needed it. That's
So
the thing. Is
the
if there are
entire-
no guns, you don't need a gun.
The entire reason about the gun is not that you need it per se, but you have it to protect yourself and your family. There's been multiple stories now, especially like in many different cities in Toronto, where there's a home invasion, and the only reason why it got stopped, and Lord knows what they might do to your wife, is because the guy has a gun. He was able to fire back. But then they drag you through the court system. But the reason for guns, primarily, is the same thing in the States. It's to protect against tyrannical government when they come to power. That's the whole reason why we need to have...
Really? Are you gonna? How are you gonna?
Absolutely.
How are you gonna fight the government? They have bombs.
Because you have... It doesn't matter.
They got
You have
tanks
guns.
and shit?
No,
So
no,
it happens-
wait. This is. I can answer this one because this is.
Because you're American.
Joe
and you
Biden
guys have
said.
them
Joe
on.
Biden said this. Eric
Yeah.
Swalwell said this.
Okay.
And then we laugh at them in Vietnamese. We laugh at them in Afghanistani. Like you, at the end of the day, and I'm friends with many veterans, and you got drones, and you have all these things. At the end of the day, drone operators have families. At the end of the day, soldiers have families, and they live in these communities.
Yeah.
And it's. I understand how dramatic it sounds, and I understand how draconian it sounds, but the threat of mutually assured destruction is one of the most safe places to be. The idea that if you come in to my place and you Ruby Ridge my family and you kill my son and you kill my wife, I'm going to take 6 or 7 of you with it. And you can be like, well, the government's got a lot more than 6 or 7. Yes, they do. But tell that to the agent making $65,000 that he has to be the first one in the door.
Yeah, but
So-
I mean, dude, what if they just roll up in a tank?
Okay? If they roll up in the tank, the idea is that community policing and community, and we have experienced this, and we experienced this at Bundy Ranch in America. We've experienced this in many different instances where the government, if you're rolling up in a tank, do you understand what should be inside and the threat to the rest of the community that it should be? Because if what's inside is just somebody that's disobeying you, well, the rest of the community says, get that fucking tank out of here. And those people that are behind the tank then, right, the suits making the couple $100,000 a year,
Right.
they start getting surrounded by people who they don't know whether they're armed or not. And it forces, there's a certain level of accountability.
Yeah,
Hitler-
a little
Hitler-
extreme.
Hit-
I don't know if the
Mr.
government wants to go after its own people in that sense.
Buddy, you just spent the
Absolutely,
first
they
20
do.
minutes talking
So-
about
so-
how they
so
shut
they-
down people's
yeah,
entire
So hold on,
country.
let me stop you right there.
No,
Let me
What are we
stop you right
talking
there.
about here?
Let me stop you right there.
They won't do it again.
No, I get it. No,
Hitler
I
said if you want to
understand,
take over
but
it, people take their guns.
Listen,
Hitler
first of
said
all,
if you want
I
to
ain't
control it,
fucking
people take their
dying for
guns.
None of this bullshit, dude. I'm going to the fucking woods and I'm fishing. I don't
Sure.
give a shit.
No, but
you
that-
guys can fucking shoot
Bro,
at
but
each other all
your
day long.
But that's your prerogative.
It's the principle.
I guarantee if your dad said no to a cop
No, I get
and
it.
then
I mean,
a
there's-
cop murked your dad, you'd feel differently.
Well, listen, I get it. There's a lot of countries that are going through this right now. I mean, you just turn on the news and there's a lot of countries that are getting, their houses are being taken from them. Everything's being blown up. So I get it. It could definitely happen. But at what do you do? I mean, if they all had guns, would that have changed it?
Guns are the great equalizer. If
They
it
are.
wasn't for guns, guys like me would just be walking around as fucking warlords all damn day, telling everybody to do what we want them to do.
Would you say
taking
essential-
people's wife, throwing over their shoulder?
Well,
like,
yeah,
Would you
see,
say
so
essen-
that's what I'm saying is the difference is the culture, because like Canadians are not gonna do that. We're
Really?
yeah, dude, man.
you got
I think
some.
they will.
You got some.
I
You got
think they
some.
will.
Today's a different
You got some
story.
conquest in your
Today's
blood
a
there,
different
but
story because we've changed our landscape has changed so much very fast. Like Canada changed. There's so many different people from so many different places where they're like crime was nothing, and even they come to Canada and are like, what? I get a slap on the wrist if I do this. They don't care. So they'll do things now that Canadians would have never done. But you're letting in a lot of people from other countries, which is fine if they're really in trouble and you need to help people. But there's a lot of people coming in at one time, and nobody's really
impossible
overseeing
to
it.
vet them.
And it's and
You're already in
that's
a position
changing.
where housing is unaffordable.
Dude, it's changing
Jobs
a
are
lot.
not paying a lot.
You go to their countries where they would like, dude, you're going to jail, you're getting beat, you're gonna get hurt
Sure.
if you do anything bad. And then they come to Canada and are like, what? I could steal $1 million. I go to jail for a month if I get caught.
Yeah.
And I'll get out and like just run away.
Yeah.
Dude, they're all gonna do that. They're gonna rob. That's what's all the jewelry stores getting robbed and
Oh.
everything happening that's going on now. It's like, of course.
I mean, even in
Install
America,
bars,
you have to
Dude,
run the
of
Congress
course,
to
dude.
do that.
You can do what you want and get away with it. So that's the problem. But when I was growing up in Canada, it was a different way. When you were growing up, I'm sure, I don't know, it was different. It didn't feel like that. It wasn't. Everyone was on this same page.
Yeah.
You know, you could leave your door unlocked. Nobody
could, yeah.
bothered anybody. You know, and that's how it felt. It felt comfortable. It felt safe. I never felt, man, dude. I turn on the news now. I'm from Montreal. There's shootings almost every night.
Yeah.
That never happened. Unless it was the mafia, it was controlled, it was one dude, and it was a few in a year because they fucked up. But the rest of, and it wasn't like, now it's gangs. Now it's just random shootings, stupid shit. Young kids, man, 16, 18, 20-year-old kids.
The problem
all this
is it only
stuff, that
takes
never
one
happened.
person. In the utopian ideal, it only takes one bad apple. 99 people can be great, and that
Yeah.
one person can cause
But
so
then every
much.
Correct.
night,
That
dude,
is
now
correct.
it's every night.
Yeah, but I don't think it's law-abiding citizens that would do that, right?
No,
like
100% no.
it's always the issue. Like whenever there's a shooting in America, and we get these harpies, like we gotta get rid of drugs, or guns. I'm sorry, we gotta get rid of guns, and I'm like, yeah, we should definitely make murder illegal. Well, like let's do it. I'm in. Like let's make murder illegal. And if legality
You can't
is
get rid of guns in America because you guys are too far gone. And Canada shouldn't get rid of gun hunting. I'm all for hunting. No, you guys can't. There's just too many guns. You guys have everything.
Buddy.
You guys don't even have guns. You have rocket launchers. You guys have all sorts of shit.
My father and my sister got into a huge argument. My father and my sister got into a huge argument a couple of years ago. And she was taking the side of, like, we just don't need guns. And my dad's like, yeah, okay, don't get a gun then. Like, he's not going to argue with her, and she just won't let it go. He'd be like, Emily, I'll be the last human being on earth with a gun. So, like, you don't ever have to have one. I wish you would have one, but you don't have to have one. And she's like, what do you need a gun for? She's like, if somebody breaks into the house. She's like, nobody's life is worth anything in this house. And my father had the coldest line of all time. He goes, I agree. That's why they shouldn't break in. It was 100%. That's a decision they're making, not a decision I'm making.
Man, I want to go shoot some guns after this.
Yo, dude. Big G was like, Big G, and he meant it too. He was like, I agree. That's why they should stay the fuck out. Because if they come in this house, pow pow. And like,
yeah, you guys have people that will come. I mean, Canada now, but that's what I'm saying.
How many people are in Canada? What's the population?
40 million.
There's 330 million of us that are here legally.
100%.
We have as many illegals in this country as you have people.
This is why I'm saying that. Dude, there was a point, I think there was more black people in jail in America than all of Canada.
We used to be a proper country.
You guys are like a different beast. Like, you guys
I'm joking. Huge. I'm not a racist. I don't think Sam is getting my comedy. I think she's like, are we okay here? Do I need to call somebody? This racist has guns.
Canada's not really diverse in that sense. But yeah, no, you guys have a lot of people, and they're all condensed in certain areas, so many different places. I get it. There's a lot of crime, and then the thing is but when life is good, I feel like crime goes down, right? Mm-hmm. People could afford stuff. They're not robbing you for some money that they need to eat, right?
Yeah.
They got jobs. So the thing is, if you make life good for everyone in your country, then the crime goes down. Naturally, crime went up in Canada because things got harder. People were losing their houses, gentrification. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They were living there forever. They got kicked out. Now they're on the streets.
Well, this is the whole socialist. This is the whole socialist sales pitch, right? It's just that, their methodology to get us there always works in the inverse. But I will say also, very funny side note, I once told him when he first moved here and I met him, and I was, again, very impressed with his comedy, his writing, which is something I'm not often, especially with people down in Florida. But he was like, for some reason we started talking about the guns. He was like, the guns are crazy down here. And I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, but, it's beautiful. Like, you can go buy an AK-47. He goes, no, you can't. I was like, oh yeah, you can. He goes, no, you can't. That's illegal. You can't do that. I was like,
you could.
Chopper.
But it's because when I moved here, it was right when they put sanctions on Russia. So there were certain things at that time. AK-47s was one that they were going to put on or did put on.
Yeah.
But then it got taken off down the
they put a sanction on the AK?
Dude, they were built. I don't know if they still are. There's an AK-47 factory right here in South Florida.
It's the best gun. It shoots underwater.
They build them right here.
They do?
I was like, what? I thought you guys were like so anti-Russia.
It's all
now you're like, oh, you got Russia, you got guns.
We're anti-Russia, but we invite Alex Ovechkin to the White House. It's all, come on.